Hello everyone! Happy Friday and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the cold case series. We are cracking those cold cases. I am so excited for the video today. We're going to be talking about, a case that I didn't realize I knew. And so my friend brought it up to me and I started researching it and I was like, oh my gosh. I know this case. When I start telling you about the Black Dahlia, I don't know if some people know about her. I think you'll know. Also, if you've seen American Horror Story, Murder House Season 1, they actually incorporated her into the season. It's really interesting, actually. But it's crazy that it's an American Horror Story. That literally, I was like, I know this case. I was reading it and I was like, I've been here before. I know what's going on. So, if you like this video, if you like this series, please give me a like, comment, subscribe to my channel, please. And let's get started. Alright, got my little tapes on so I can get those crisp edges, and I'm doing a makeup look today that's inspired by the Black Dahlia. It's just like a dark smoky eye look, I don't know, but let's get started. Okay, so Black Dahlia, also known, her actual name is Elizabeth Short. She was found at 10 a.m. Oh my god, I forgot to prime my eyes. I primed my eyes really fast. I can't believe I almost just forgot. Let's get back into it. So, Elizabeth Short was found at 10 a.m. on January 15th, 1947 by a woman named Beth Bersinger and her 3-year-old daughter on their way to run an errand. At first, Beth was like, what is that? Why is there a store mannequin laying in the yard? It was a vacant lot, so there weren't, and it was in a really undeveloped area, housing community, so not a lot of people were around. So Beth was like, oh my god, how'd this mannequin get out here? And then as she went closer, she realized it was a dead body, and so she ran and she called the popo, and so that was how they found Elizabeth Short. And just a warning, this case is very gruesome. Yeah, it's very gruesome. So if you don't like to hear about gruesome things, now's your time to exit. I'm not gonna put her picture of the dead body. You can just paint the image for yourself, because it's really messed up. So let's talk about how she was found. Elizabeth Short was found in the lot, and she was in 2 pieces. Right at the abdomen, she was cut in half. She was naked. And she had... The way she was positioned was pretty weird. Her arms were positioned above her head like this, and then her legs were just spread. And she was put in that position, and on her face had been made into a Glasgow grin, or also known as Chelsea's grin. And she was pretty mutilated. Certain parts of her skin were cut up and mutilated, and it was a pretty gruesome crime scene to be around. And so that is how they found her, and the coroner, or whoever was there, could tell that she had died about 10 hours ago, before she was even put there. So she didn't actually die. She either died late January 14th evening, or early like 12 o'clock in the morning, on January 15th. But it seemed like she had been tortured, And she just, it was a really brutal scene. I would not have wanted to been a cop coming on to that crime scene. And it took them a few seconds to identify her, and then like they used her fingerprints and they found out it was Elizabeth Short, who then they nicknamed the Black Dahlia because of the movie. There was a movie called The Blue Dahlia, and at the time Blue Dahlia was like adventurous and like sexy and blah blah blah, and like that's how they perceived Elizabeth, which is kind of crazy because they didn't even know her, but they were just like, yeah, she's a sex worker, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, you don't know her life though. So she was drained of all of her blood. Like, all of her blood had been drained out of her body, and she had been like washed clean. That's kind of weird that the killer, he cleaned her up after. And so yeah, that's why she was so pale, because she had zero blood and she was completely scrubbed of any of the blood or anything on the outside. And so that's why she looked like a mannequin. In the autopsy report, it showed that whoever did this to her was someone with surgical skill. Now, that kind of limited like people they questioned, because someone knew what they were doing when they chopped her on up and everything and sewed her right back up. Because it's not like they chopped her up and then left her like guts to spill out. They chopped her up, sewed her up. Kind of scary, because someone with power and surgical skills was being a killer and was on the loose. So then they were like, okay, so let's question all the... No, I'm not gonna get to the suspects yet. Okay, wait, maybe I am at the suspects. Okay, well, let's talk about... A lot of people, like I said, were saying, like, kind of like shitty things about her. Even though a lot of people didn't even know her, they were like, yeah, she's crazy. Like, some called her a prostitute. Some said that she prostituted herself. Also, she came to Hollywood. She was from Boston. She came to Hollywood, obviously, at the time, it was 1947, 1950s. Everyone's aspiring to be famous actor, you know, at that time. Yeah, so she came to Hollywood, to be an aspiring actress, and, like, she worked as a waitress, as most actors do, and she was not getting a lot of, acting gigs, and so that was kind of, it's always, like, upsetting. And so, yeah, people were like, oh, she's a prostitute, you know, she prostituted herself, blah, 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 blah. And we don't actually know. We don't know. We don't know her life. We don't know what she actually did. But, yeah. So, about 750 investigators worked on this case whenever it happened. That's a lot of people investigating one case. I mean, yeah, it is like it's not like a crazy high profile case. I mean, it's a high profile murder case, so yeah. But, like, that's still a lot of people. I was not expecting there to be that many people working on a case. Let's talk about the suspects. So, like, this case did not have a lot of suspects. And the suspects it did have didn't really go anywhere. As we see with most cold cases. It's really upsetting. And cold cases that are like this crazy, like JonBenet Ramsey, have random people who think they can confess to them. Why are you confessing to a murder you didn't commit? Some people were confessing to this murder who weren't even born yet when the murder happened. Are you dumb? So yeah, a lot of people did that. So a detective on the case, his name was Ralph Asdale, he said, this guy's a little suspicious, but whatever. He said that he actually interviewed the murderer and that he knew who it was. But nothing ever happened after that. Like, bro, how can you tell people, like, straight up be like, yeah, the murderer, I knew who it was, and then just not tell anyone, like, actually who the murderer was. Sometimes, like, gibberish actually comes out of my mouth, and I'm so sorry that you guys have to listen to like a 20-minute video of me speaking gibberish. So, sorry about that. But Ralph Asdell said that he interviewed the killer and he knew who it was. But then nothing ever came of that. So, don't really know what your point was there, Ralph. But yeah, he was like the original detective, one of the last detectives alive who worked on the case. And so when he said this was in like 2003, and everyone was like, it's been like 70 years, bro. And you're telling us now you knew who the killer was? Like, we could have solved this a long time ago, but whatever. And then nothing ever came of that, and I don't even know, like, I'll tell you in a little bit my theory of who it is. But let's continue talking about the suspects. So, like I said, there was a lot of them. I don't even know how her family felt. Like, there's not that many articles about how her family felt. I mean, it was in the 1950s, so I couldn't even find really any interviews with her sister, because her sister seemed to be like the one she was like closest with. That's all I've heard about, you know, as I was researching the case, was her sister. But the suspects, I'm gonna read the list of possible ones that there were, and the people in this list I don't think did it at all, but I'll tell you the two after who I think did it. Okay, so I'm just gonna read off the list because I don't want to mess up and give you false information. Okay, so there's a list. Norman Chandler. I don't even know who the hell these people are, but they were their suspects. Norman Chandler, Leslie Dillon, Joseph Dumas, I don't know, Artie Lane, Mark Hansen, Dr. Francis E. Sweeney, Orson Welles, Fred Sexton, who is a friend of actually one of the suspects, George Hodo. I don't know if it's Hodel or Hodel. George Knowlton, another George, Robert, oh shoot, I can't read, Patrick S. O'Reilly, and Jack Anderson Wilson. Nothing really ever came of those suspects, and I don't think any of them did it. Maybe they were involved? No, I don't think so. But, so like, one of the two suspects who is a little suspicious is Robert M. Red Manley. That was his nickname, is Red, I guess. He was the last person seen with Elizabeth. They took a trip to, they helped each other out a lot. Like, they were good friends. They took a trip to LA together, right before her murder. And when they came back, he dropped her off at the Biltmore Hotel so she could see her sister. She was visiting her sister, who had come in from Boston. So yeah, she was visiting with her sister, and actually he was definitely the last person to have seen her alive, technically, because that was like 4 days. January 9th, 1947, so like 4 days before the freaking murder. So that's a little suspicious. I don't think our friend Robert here had some crazy surgical I mean, maybe. We don't know. We don't know what he did with his free time. But I don't really think it was him. But, you know, I could be wrong. There's not really much information about him. Just that him and Elizabeth were kind of close, you know. They platonically stayed in a hotel together. That's what it said. I don't really know, like, if they ever were, like, dating or, like, together. I don't know. It didn't really say. I don't think actually a lot of people knew, like, what they were, but they hung out together. I think he lived with her and, like, friends when they were together. Like, so they just helped each other out, I think. And some people are like, well, the woman found her could be a suspect. The woman was with her 3-year-old daughter. I don't really think she wanted to show her daughter a dead body on purpose. I mean, maybe she crazy, but it just has no correlation. So that's Robert Red Manley. So the big guy, the big suspect here, who I'll tell you after what I think about it, all this, but the big boy suspect here. Do I look like a goblin? Yes. Okay, so the next suspect is George Hodel. I don't know how to say his name. Jr. And he was accused of this murder by his son, Steve Hodel. And, I don't know. This guy, very suspicious. He worked at a, venereal disease, an STD clinic. So he knew, like, a lot of people's business in Hollywood, you know, so that kind of gives him a lot of power, I think a lot of opportunity to be able to, you know, get away basically with whatever he wants, but whatever. So that also means he, you know, basic surgical skills because he went to med school. He's a doctor, so he had to have gone to med school. So he has some surgical skills. And so there was a point where he was accused of raping his daughter. His daughter, Tamar, I think her name is, came out and said that her father had been molesting her and raping her and taught her about oral sex at like the age of 11 and like offered her to his friends. Oh, this poor girl. And then so she accuses him, and also she said her dad raped her at 14, and then at 15 she had a baby that she gave up for adoption. So that baby was definitely, I don't know if I can do math, but that baby was definitely, its grandpa was also its dad, so, I'm so sorry for that girl. Tamar, I'm so sorry for you. And, I'm sorry you didn't receive justice because the dad was acquitted and did not get charged with rape, so that's kind of annoying. Because I'm pretty sure other family members could attest to it, but then they were like, no. That, obviously, he has power and he's a scary kind of guy, so he's not gonna, everyone's not gonna go behind his back and straight up, like, turn him in. So everyone was kind of like, no, he wouldn't do that to his child. Blah, blah, blah. When in actuality, yeah, he would, because I think he did it. But whatever. So yeah, he has surgical skills. Let's talk about the way her body was positioned. So, the way her body was positioned was weird, you know? We talked about this a little bit ago. Her body positioning was freaking weird and made no sense. And like, was really confusing. She was positioned in this way, I believe, because George Hodel, liked this artist named Man Ray, and one of Man Ray's like pieces of art, I think inspired like inspired the murder, because one of his pieces of art was like the guy. It was like a image of a guy like this, and his legs are spread, but I don't know. And he was like really obsessed with Man Ray's art and everything. Like, that was a big thing. He had his art all over his house. I don't know, it's so suspicious, but no one ever brought that up, really. And so he wasn't acquitted. He was acquitted of raping his daughter. He didn't get charged with that, and he was never charged with this murder, even though it's so obvious he committed it, because I think someone in the family said that they heard like screams or something in the home, and then someone else said that like right after the murder he had brought in like, okay, I could be wrong, you guys could fact check me on this, but he brought in like cement or something to his house, like so he could like remodel, and it was right after the murder, so he was probably putting cement in his house to cover up all the blood and everything, but we will never know. We'll never know. And so also, while all this was going on, there were like things being sent to the police, and it was kind of like, you know how serial killers like cut out letters from like magazines, and it's like, you know, the classic like serial killer like ransom note is like pasted letters of, you know. So someone was called the police and was like, I'm Elizabeth Short's killer, I'm the Black Dahlia killer, and I'm gonna be sending you her belongings. So like over the course of like this time, they were sending her, the police, like these envelopes. This killer was sending the police these envelopes of her belongings and was saying like, I'm the killer, but not admitting who he was. So we, again, don't know. And I think they found one fingerprint on one of the envelopes. And of course, it wasn't in the goddamn system. So they didn't know who it was. What I want to know is, like, why didn't they get... But I guess it's probably because it was, like, after the fact. They should have got George Hodel, his fingerprints. So they could have, you know, figured it out and see, like, did he do it or not? Like, so now that I've talked about that, we're gonna take a little pause and I'm just gonna do a little tutorial here. I'm doing a tutorial on how I do my eyeliner. So I use this tape usually, so I get that like crisp lines. So I do the crisp lines, and I use the tape also as a guideline. It's like I always want to make sure it's like lined up like with my lower lash line so that it's just like easier to do. I'm gonna use this ugly magnetic eyeliner. No offense to you, Eyelure, it's not like you're watching this, but I hate your magnetic lashes and they're not good because they don't stay on. But you know, I wanted some fakies for today, so we'll try. Okay, so I always start from the bottom. See, it's like trash eyeliner, bro. And then I go out, and then from that, I just drag down. This is ugly. Not my eyeliner, just the fact that the eyeliner's running out. Like, I hope the wing looks good, but it's also hard to see because I have black eyeshadow on, because it's the Black Dahlia. Black and purple eyeshadow on. But yeah, that's how I do my eyeliner. And also getting them even is hard. But when you have the tape on, I feel like it's a little bit easier though. Okay, so because I'm not using the wing, don't go all the way, because the magnetic eyeliner don't go all the way out here, I'm just gonna go over it a little. There we go. Ta-da! Alright, I'm gonna do my eyeliner, and then I'm not trying to put on a lot of foundation today because I am getting my nose pierced. Oh, and a tattoo today. Well, when this airs like it's a TV show. When this comes on YouTube, it will be my birthday. Friday is my birthday. So, yeah, I'm getting a tattoo today for my birthday, and my best friend is paying for me to get my nose pierced. I'm so excited! I'm gonna be posting like my birthday vlogs and everything. So, because this birthday week has been, it's gonna be so fun. I'm gonna do my makeup. I know I didn't do a lot of it in camera today. I just have to finish my eyeliner and then I'll be back. Okay, bye! And we're back. Hello, welcome back. I finished my makeup and I did a little Chelsea's Grin lipstick. It looks really goofy when I'm just like, because the way my dimples are set is kind of weird and wonky, but whatever. Yeah, that's it for, I probably look like a boo-boo the fool. Look like a clown, but whatever. Today's look was inspired by the Black Dahlia. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more of. I hope you liked it. I hope I gave enough information about it today. And if you need to know more information, hit me up, or you can look up, YouTube has videos about other, YouTube has other videos about her. You can watch the American Horror Story episodes. Yeah. So that is all for today. Please like, comment, subscribe, and have a great weekend. Bye. This looks pretty good. A clown.